Ryan stood up from the bed after treating Jungkook's injuries, which he got God knows from where. But he just told her that he got into a fight. Jungkook, she called him, her voice laced with seriousness. Sensing it, Jungkook looked up. Yes, Cupcake? He asked while cupping her face with a smile. But his smile fell from his lips when she removed his hand from his cheeks. Let's break up. For some seconds, the room fell in silence. But then Jungkook chuckled. Standing up from the bed, he ruffled her hairs. I'm not going to fall into a trap, Ryan. It's a prank, right? Come on, tell me, where did you hide the camera? He said, looking around, but Ryan's next word broke his heart. I'm not joking here, Jungkook. Let's break up. I'm serious. He looked at her, and in some seconds, his eyes filled with tears. But why? He tried to come closer to her, but she stepped back. I just won't break up. I can't stay with a man who can't control his anger. She turned around to leave, but he instantly held her from behind, resting his chin on her shoulder. His tears were falling on her neck. I'm trying to overcome it. Please don't leave me, Ryan. Yes, this is what you are saying from past months, but nothing changed. You always fight with others. And what if someday you... She stopped, but he already guessed what was she about to say. Anger surged through his nerves. He turned her around and held her shoulders. Did I ever hurted you, Ryan? She wanted to speak, but words stuck in her throat. And what will she even say? The man in front of her never hurted her. Instead, he loved her unconditionally. But what can she do? She is also a victim of situation. He yelled in the last, shaking her by her shoulders, but instantly regretted when she flinched and more tears poured out from her eyes. I'm sorry, Ryan. I'm sorry. He pulled her in his embrace while she was crying on his chest. Just the thought of you leaving me is making me mad. I'll become a beast if you left me, Ryan. You never hurted me. He heard her low voice. She moved away from him a bit and looked in his eyes. You never hurted me. But that doesn't mean you will not in future. No, before hurting you, I preferred death. He said, holding her arms. We are over, Jungkook. She removed his hands from her and ran away from there as soon as possible. Jungkook fell on his knees and started shouting like a mad person and breaking all the things of his room. Vine was walking inside the campus, but suddenly someone started walking beside her while keeping his one hand on her shoulder. She looked up and jerked his hand. What are you doing, Jungkook? What? He asked unbothered. Jungkook, we broke up yesterday, so stay away from me. His jaw clenched at the word breakup. He looked here and there before grabbing her hand and pulled her in an empty corner. What the hell? He placed his one hand on her mouth. You will not scream, okay? She glared at him but nodded. He slowly removed his hand from her mouth and pinned both of her hands on the wall. What is this, Jungkook? I think I made it clear yesterday. Are you happy by doing this? Yes. He scoffed at her answer. Have you looked at yourself? Huh? It's clear that you have cried whole night. Her eyes slightly widened and she looked away. Look at me, Ryan. She slowly looked at him. Why are you hurting both of us? Jungkook, leave me. It's better for both of us, she said, trying to get out of his grip. Oh really? But I don't find any good in it. He pulled her more closer. His lips was just an inch away from her. But then she said, Jungkook, leave me. We both broke up yesterday. This time, he left her and looked at her angrily. It's not we, it's only you, he said, pointing his finger towards her, whereas she started walking out. And listen, one more thing. I didn't accept that breakup shit of yours. You are still my girlfriend. She heard him, but left from there silently. Vine was sitting in the class, not on her usual seat, cause usually she sits beside Jungkook. Jungkook came in the class, his eyes only searching for Vine, and he found her sitting on the last seat. There was a boy who was sitting beside her. He walked to her. He glared at the poor boy, and the boy immediately left from there to sit somewhere else. Jungkook sat down beside her, and Vine turned her face other side as he was looking at her continuously. He leaned towards her ear. You can't hide your gloomy face, even after doing tons of makeup. Her hands clenched on the book she was holding. He was right. Before coming here, she applied makeup on her face to hide her puffy face. But believe me, you look more beautiful without these things on your face. She stood up from her seat, but he held her hand. Jungkook, leave me. Vine is walking on the road aimlessly and thinking what happened in the college today. Vine was washing her hands. Just then she heard door locking sound, and the next second someone grabbed Vine's hair tightly. She looked through the mirror and it was Cara, the bad girl of the college. Leave me, Cara. Vine jerked her hand off from her hair while she glared at Vine. What were you doing with Jungkook, huh? Didn't I told you to stay away from him? Seems like you don't want him to live anymore. Cara took some steps closer to her and grabbed her jaw tightly. Believe me, Vine, if he is not mine, then I'll not leave him alive for anyone. I broke up with him. It will take some time for him to get over from me. Cara left her with a jerk, causing her to bump into a sink. No need. Transfer from here. No. What? Do I hear something wrong? You are denying me. Listen, girl. Last time I told my mans to only beat him. But I don't know what will happen next. Mine looked at her with her teary eyes. How can you say that you love him when you are ready to kill him? Oh, honey, I love him. I really do. But I'm repeating it again only for you. If not mine, then not anyone's else. Anyways, I don't want to see you in university from tomorrow. She said and left from there, leaving a crying Vian behind. Vian's feet stopped in front of the bar. She stared at the entrance for some time, then pulled out her phone and messaged Jungkook. Jungkook, can you come to bar? I want to talk to you. And she walked inside the bar. She was on her second glass when her phone buzzed. It was a reply from Jungkook. In message, I can't come. And what do you want to talk? You have broke up with me, right? You broke my heart. I don't want to talk to you. Tears escaped from her drowsy eyes. She wanted to tell him everything, cause she thought even after leaving him, there will be no guarantee that Cara will not harm him. She decided to talk to him and find solution, but seems like it's very late. 10 more shots, she said to the bartender. Putting her phone back, she started gulping down the shots one after another. She was crying also. Hello, beautiful. She looked at the man beside her. He was almost same age as her. She didn't pay attention to him and continued drinking. By the way, you are Vian, right? This time, she looked at the man with her blurry vision. How do you know me? That shouldn't be your concern. Your concern should be how you're going to save yourself from me. What? But the next second, he grabbed her hand and flipped her over his shoulder. Yeah, leave me, you. She was wiggling in his grip, hitting him with her fist, but all went in vain. She wasn't that much strong to fight with him. Plus, she wasn't in her senses. She was completely wasted in alcohol. On the other hand, Jungkook was drinking in the same bar with his friend. He slammed the glass on the counter aggressively. I can't. She will be sad knowing I'm drinking like this. She told me not more than 4 glasses. His friend patted his shoulder. Jungkook, you should get over from her. She broke up with you. She don't care about you now. He's right, Jungkook. You should move on from that. Before he can complete, Jungkook grabbed his collar. Not a word against her. Jungkook left his collar while pushing him a little. Why? I'm saying truth. Hyung, please. I don't want to fight. You don't know her. Jungkook, you have to understand. A day ago she broke up with you and now roaming with other boys. I said shut up. He marched towards Jimin, but others held him. Jimin, don't say anything. But taehyung, I just saw her. You must have saw someone else. he said, freeing himself from others. If you don't believe me, then come, see by yourself. He walked ahead but stopped, seeing Jungkook is not following him. What happened? You're not able to see her with other boy? No, I'm coming with you. Not because I don't believe her, but because I want to prove you wrong. They walked towards the direction where Jimin was leading them. As they came a little far from the loud music, they heard a scream of a girl. They looked at each other because the voice was very painful and the girl was crying. This is Ryan's voice. And without thinking twice, he ran towards the direction of the voice. He looked here and there, and the voice was coming from a room. Luckily, the door wasn't locked, was just shut. He barged inside the room. And the scene in front of him was heart-wrenching and blood-boiling at the same time. A man was hovering above Ryan while she was struggling under his grip to come out, but wasn't able to. She grabbed something from the side table and hit him on his head, and he fell on the floor, grabbing his head. He was about to get up, but before that, Jungkook grabbed his hair and banged his head hardly on the floor, and in no time, he was beating him to death, while Ryan was still on the bed, covering herself with a blanket as her clothes were torn, crying miserably. I'll see you later, he said, throwing the last punch on his unconscious figure and threw his body towards taehyung and jimin. Take care of him till then. They nodded before dragging that man out. Now Jungkook turned towards Ryan, who was still a crying mess. He walked to her and hesitantly put his one hand on her shoulder, but immediately took it back when she flinched badly. Ryan, it's me. Jungkook, look. She slowly looked up and stared at him for some seconds, and next second she threw herself on him and hugged him tightly, crying while tightly holding him as if her life depended on him. Jungkook, please take me from here, please. I don't. Please take me from here. She murmured so many things between her crying, but he heard only one thing. Jungkook, please take me from here. He pulled away from her, but she again held him tightly. Ryan, we are leaving. Let me pick you up. She sniffed and nodded. Still her tears didn't stop, no matter how many times he wiped them. He removed his jacket and covered her with it before picking her up in his arms. She hid her face in his chest. He walked out of the room, carrying her. I don't want to go outside like this, she whispered, and he nodded. After some minutes, he entered in the room and locked the door. Hearing the door locking sound, she looked up and found herself in some lavish room. Where are we, Jungkook? Shh. Believe me, we are in a safe place. He put her down on the bed and moved back from her, but she held his hand tightly. Where are you going? He sat on the bed and hugged her tightly. Nowhere. I'm not leaving you. He cupped her face and wiped her tears with his thumb. She looked at him for some time before bursting into tears. She hugged him tightly. She is crying while saying, When, please calm down. You will get sick like this. He got worried while seeing her crying this badly. She wasn't even breathing properly and panicking a lot. Wyan, calm down please. Breathe. He was patting her back, but her body was still trembling. Nothing was helping, and in the end, he placed his lips on hers. She stopped speaking. He held her tightly, pulling her close. He was softly moving his lips on hers, and after a minute, they both parted away, breathing heavily. Jungkook, he placed his finger on her lips. Water? She shook her head as no. Come on, just a little. He gave her a glass of water, from which she hardly drank some water. Just then, he was done placing the glass on the side table. Wine spoke. Jungkook, Wine, let's talk in the morning. Come on, let's sleep. You need rest. He laid on the bed and pulled her close in his arms, hugging her tightly. He kissed her forehead gently. Sleep. Good night, love. She felt peace in her heart, hearing love from him, and she slept while wrapping her hands around him. Next morning, Vine was sleeping until she felt someone kissing her one eye, then another, and followed by her whole face, and lastly, he gave a soft peck on her lips. But he got shocked when she pulled him in a deep kiss. They both broke the kiss and stared at each other for some time. Then Vine spoke. Where is your phone? Huh? Phone? He asked, being confused. Yes, where is your phone? He checked his both pockets, but the phone wasn't there. But then he remembered something. Actually, I don't have my phone since last evening. I lost it somewhere. She sighed and sat straight on the bed. Jungkook, let's run away from here. Jungkook gave her a confused look as he is not understanding what she is saying. Jungkook, let's run from here. She will kill you. Who? Cara. You know why I broke up with you? She forced me. So, the whole time, she was behind it. She nodded while looking down. Did she hurt you? He said, checking her body to find any bruises. No, she just slapped me sometimes. Now it's not the matter. Let's go far away from here, where she can't find us. Why did we do something wrong? No, right? So why will we go? And that Cara, I'll handle her. But she is dangerous. She had killed so many people before. You don't know me. And be quiet. You have done already so much. His tone was harsh in the last that brings tears in her eyes. He sighed. Wyan, what are you? I can't even scold you properly. If I'll say something, then you'll start crying. It's good. Very good. She looked down, but he can hear her sniffing. He sighed, taking a deep breath. He wrapped his arms around her and hugged her. I was scared. Please, don't be mad at me. Shh. I'm not angry on you, but I'm upset. do this in future. We will face everything together. Okay? She nodded. Where is he? He said he'll be here in 1 hour. But look, she was pacing back and forth in his mansion. He left her here 2 hours ago, saying that he have to deal with something. But she knows that something is Cara. That's why she is worried. She sat on the sofa, grabbing her head. But then she heard footsteps. She looked up and found Jungkook coming closer to her. He stopped in front of her and opened his arms, and she happily jumped in his arms. He twirled her around. Jungkook, put me down. He shook his head. Jungkook. He sighed and sat on the sofa with her on his lap, still not ready to leave her. Is Cara matter closed? Completely closed, he said and pecked her lips, but instantly realized what he just said. How do you know? I know you very well and your important work. But tell me what you did. Nothing. She's just behind the bars. And now you focus on me and only me. Okay? But
some years we go lost, we got special.